Hi, you're listening to Breaking Up with Corporate, where quitting the rat race doesn't mean losing your mind. It means finding your purpose. We're your hosts. My name is Alex Murray.
My name is Susan Tresatti. Two women who ditched the suits, burned the handbooks, and built businesses that fed our souls.
Each episode, we bring you powerful stories from people who have made the pivot, left the grind behind to chase something bigger.
The road isn't easy, but it's worth it. So grab your coffee, your courage, and let's break up with corporate together.
I'm Alex. I'm the owner of Unleash You Coaching. I'm a business coach, and I left the corporate world 18 months ago after 10 years in corporate.
And my name's Susan, and I'm the owner of Dragonfly Realty. I'm a real estate agent and property manager. I left the corporate world 2 years ago after 30 years in the business.
Breaking Up with Corporate will share stories from individuals who have left the corporate world to pursue passion, purpose, entrepreneurship, and a more fulfilling career. We aim to inspire others through honest, respectful, and empowering conversations.
If money was not a hurdle, what would you do? We all have that dream of if we could, we would, or something always wanting to do, but either afraid of failure or we're not sure they could do it. There's a lot of resources out there for you. We will dive into ways to help you succeed from our road to success, as well as others who did the same thing.
Our goal is to inspire, empower, and educate individuals who are ready to break up with the corporate life by sharing real life stories of people who have pivoted towards purpose driven careers while promoting meaningful connections, educational tools, and community support to help their own personal transformations.
We want to create a world where more people feel empowered and more confident to go after careers that align with their purpose, create businesses, lives, and work that aligns with who they truly are.
Together, we'll sit down with inspiring individuals who've walked away from traditional careers to build something more meaningful. We talk about what drove the decision, what came next, and how they're navigating the highs and lows and everything in between. If you've ever felt the pull towards something more, this podcast is for you. Right now, we're going to kind of talk about the kind of guests that Susan and I plan on having on this podcast. We have an amazing lineup of people that we have met through our own community here in Denton, Texas, and even outside of Denton. We plan on interviewing people who have been in the corporate world for an extended amount of time to even a short amount of time. Those who have left the corporate world, gone back to the corporate world for whatever reasons, whether it was personal, a decision they needed to make financially, and then exited again. We'll also hear from individuals who made these pivots because they were stuck in burnout. They were stuck in careers that were going nowhere, or financially, it just made more sense for them to take that leap on their own into entrepreneurship or owning their own business, or even into more smaller private ownership of companies that aren't really necessarily in the corporate world. So we'll be hearing from all different types of individuals, some who are been very, very successful in what they did, some who might still be struggling. So we're going to be hearing some of the pitfalls that come with that. We'll be hearing from people who might still be struggling with that transition, and some who have made that transition and just taken off. And so our goal is to bring all of these beautiful stories from those we have met in the real world who have left those traditional corporate 9-to-5 jobs behind to try to go into something more in line with their values and their purpose, and maybe even to provide a better service to people in their community. Susan, did you have anything you wanted to add to that, and maybe as to what our audience and anybody who's listening might get out of listening to our podcast?
Yeah, and you'll be hearing our stories too. As you know, Alex and I have very different stories, but we were able to come together because we both had the same struggles in the corporate world. We knew that there was something better out there for us. So, what we want you to get from this podcast is for the people that are in the corporate world and are thinking about jumping and don't know what to do, or just want to have someone there that they can hear their stories and think that maybe I can do this too. We're going to be talking to people that are already made the leap and what made them make that leap and why did they make that leap. Was it financial? Was it they wanted something more out of life? They wanted more of a work life balance. There's a lot of reasons people leave the corporate world. And then we also want the people that have done the jump and are struggling. You know, what can we do to help you with that struggle so you don't have to go back to something that you really don't want to do? So we hope you stick around and enjoy this as much as we're enjoying bringing you some of this, because we know what it's like. We've been there. It can be hard, but it's always worth it.
Yeah, I agree, Susan. I think what I really hope our audience gets out of this and future people who listen to this, and the reason Susan and I put this whole podcast together is because of our shared experience. And as we went along, and I think Susan, you'd probably agree with me, right? As we went along and started talking to other people in our communities, we realized there's so many people who had this exact same story of leaving corporate and pursuing a career in business or in entrepreneurship of some type, or a smaller business that was no longer in the corporate world because of there was purpose driven, financially driven, burnout driven, some reason that they left the corporate world and were doing something on their own now. And we kept hearing the same story over and over and over again. And we just knew that this is something that we wanted to bring to other people to not only help them make that pivot, but to also make sure that you're not alone, that you maybe could hear yourself in these stories as well. So if you want to make that pivot, that you can either find connection, you can find community, or you can find yourself in the story and know that like you can do it as well, and find that encouragement and be empowered to know that it is possible for yourself to take that big leap in business ownership or entrepreneurship, whatever that may be for you. Susan, you'd like to share about future podcasts and what people can expect?
I'm really looking forward to being able to help other people, because it was really difficult trying to do this on your own. So we want to be there for you so you don't feel alone.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Well, we look forward to bringing amazing guests as episodes roll out. And you'll, again, like Susan said, you'll hear more of our stories throughout the podcast and as we interview other people. And that being said, this will be the end of our first introductory podcast. And our next one will be out very shortly. Breaking up with corporate just isn't an ending.
This is the beginning of your next chapter.
Thanks for listening to Breaking Up with Corporate. Be sure to subscribe and share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. Until then, remember, you don't have to do this alone.